I'm going to start off by saying something a little controversial. Playing fast is not that important. But being able to play fast, now that is important. So this lesson is about speed, but we're going to talk about it at the very kind of ground level, starting from the ground up. Underneath the really fast licks, there are certain techniques and things that have to be done at a precise level before you can build those longer fast sequences. I'm in standard tuning, and that's because the course that this lesson is related to is in standard tuning, even though it's generally influenced by Stevie Ray Vaughan. So when it comes to speed, let's clarify what I mean by speed. So there are kind of two different types of speed. I'm going to start with the one that I'm not talking about, and that is the kind of speed that Joe Bonamassa uses that involves a lot of alternate picking runs like that, and not a whole lot use of hammer-ons or what they call legato, using hammer-ons and pull-offs. That is one type of speed, but that's not what I'm talking about, because that type of speed takes a lot longer to develop and requires a lot more out of your picking hand. Whereas the kind of speed that I'm talking about is the kind that relies on hammer-ons and pull-offs with a minimum of picking strokes to start. This is related to a style of playing that is called legato, using hammer-ons and pull-offs to accomplish as much of the notes as possible, using a minimum of picking strokes. I'm going to be playing in the key of B because it's nice and compact. The frets are kind of nice and close together there. The first part of this is this motion right here. That picking stroke from the G string down through the E and the B and the E string, that is one of the crucial steps. But what's going on here, other than the fact that we have a bend, but then we're following through, watch my picking hand, a single picking stroke. Okay? Now what you don't hear is this. Or okay? The reason you don't hear that is because I release this bend at the top without letting it come back down, and it snaps into my fingertip here. So speed, to do things like start with getting that bend right, where you can release that bend at the height and let it snap against your finger without having it ring out. At the same time, you're following through. And so it sounds kind of annoying to hear that over and over again. But if you don't get that motion down, you're not going to be able to play fast in this style. And so in the course that I'll talk about at the end, Texas Blues Speed Workshop, I literally start right there, breaking down exactly what I showed you there, but in a little bit more detail. Now, once you get that, the next thing that comes up is quick, fast hammer-ons, okay? Quick, strong hammer-ons. So if I just did a strong hammer-on, like I'm pressing really hard there, you're not hearing anything ring out. Well, because I'm not going fast enough to create a vibration in the string. Likewise, if I was quick, but I wasn't strong enough, you wouldn't hear much. It's the combination of a quick and hard hammer-on that gets that note to ring out. And so okay, now let's talk for a minute about getting that finger up here. That requires, if I fret the bend with my middle finger, notice I'm moving these two fingers independently. Don't take that for granted. My last lesson where I talked about the spider drills, that is why the spider drills are so important, because in order to play fast, these two fingers, your middle finger and your ring finger, have to be able to move independently. And for a lot of people, they kind of want to move together. And so that little maneuver right there, getting that note right there for that hammer-on, you're going to need to do those spider drills to build that finger independence and dexterity, as well as the grip strength that comes from doing the drills to get that hammer-on. So then the extension of that is the pull-off, because we're going to pull off from this note to that note, from the 10th fret to the 7th fret on the B string. You hear what I'm doing there? The pull-off, when you do them on the high E string, an ideal situation for a pull-off is that there's nothing underneath it and you can literally just hammer your finger down and pull off like that. That's easy. What's harder is when you're holding this bar back here and you need to kind of pull off to the side. Well, the reason you're hearing that note is because I'm barring the E string and I hammer on and I kind of dig my finger off to the side there with just the underside of my fingertip. If I maintain this bar here, and this barring these firmly is important, but it's important to have a flexible bar, because at the minute I go to pull off, watch my finger go up like that. If I don't have the E string barred, like if I pick it and it doesn't ring out, and that split second, that little move, I'm lifting enough pressure to allow the E string to just mute against the bottom of my finger. And that's how I can do these hammer-on pull-offs without having the E string ring out. So far, we've got this bend with the release, okay? A good solid bar here so that the string can, snap against your fingertip and fret while we have this downward stroke. Then we have a strong, quick hammer-on, adjusting our bar, and then doing our pull-off. Okay? So, after this, there's usually two places we go, either jumping up here for some kind of pull-off maneuver, or coming down here. This is a note that can be picked or hammered on. If you've ever seen Buddy Guy do that trick where he plays and his fretting hand or his picking hand's out here, it's all hammer-ons and pull-offs that he's doing there. Hammer on, slide, pull off to here. And again, notice how my finger is elevated here, so the B and the E string don't ring out when I do that pull off. And then you can circle right back around. And when you circle back around, you pick this note at the bottom, you can pick here and then go right into the bend here with the hammer on. And so here's the thing. That's just one little lick, just a fraction of a lick that lies at the heart of some of Stevie Ray Vaughan's fastest things. And when he got down into the other regions, he's obviously not doing the exact same thing, but the things that you have to develop to play this to play that fast are the same kind of techniques that you will need to use to play the other things fast and to keep everything controlled. And that's why I call my Texas Blues Speed Workshop course a system for building speed, because I start at ground level there and help you build those small techniques. I don't just show them to you, I give you milestones to hit. I give you exercises to do over and over again. I provide the demonstrations and the click tracks and the tracking documents. And then I also have, on the other side of it, the spider drills. I have those guided and daily trackers for those, because when you get to moving your fingers around like that, you got to have independence. And as you're building longer phrases, you got to have the endurance. I show you we build a palette of licks as we go, one small piece at a time. And every time there's a new technique that is needed, I talk about the technique that you're going to need to play this next part. And then there's a new exercise. And so there's 6 different levels that you can go through. At the very beginning, we start with something slow like this on the basic track. And by the end of level 6 on the basic track, I have you playing something like this. But then the whole course starts over again back at level 1 on the advanced track or the fast track. And it's designed so that the fast track at level 1 is just a little bit higher than the basic track at level 6. So you go up and then you go back and you restart. And so at the beginning of the fast track at level 1, I have you playing something like this. And then we go through a lot of the same exercises, levels 1 through 6. And by the time you get to the end of level 6, I have you playing things like this. So it really is an all-inclusive system for helping you to build speed for this specific style of playing guitar. Now, obviously, you can buy the course and you can download all the materials and the Guitar Pro tabs and the videos and all that good stuff, and that is certainly an option. I think, however, that our Locals program is the better choice simply because I have all these looping features built into our online player where you can loop over the exercises with a single click. We have a spider drills tool built into the Pro Player that you can do your spider drills with a visual on-screen guide. And so I think that's the best way, but some people don't like memberships, and that's fine. That's why we have both options. Either way, you can take the things that I showed you here today and run with them, and you may never need another lesson from me or not. But if you really want a system that guides you through building real speed for Texas Blues guitar, check out Texas Blues Speed Workshop. I think you're going to love it.